Hey everyone, this is Hassan. Welcome to my video. Today I'm going to discuss how to draw shadow shapes. Let's get started. So basically shadow shapes are part of rendering. What I mean by rendering is like you have a sphere and you want to convey the 3D-ness of this sphere. So you divide this spherical object into some shapes and name them, like this is the light shape, this is the dark shape, this is the shadow. So you have defined this form with different shapes, and then it's easy for you to render it. Like you can use your ball pen or any medium graphite to make the things darker or lighter to achieve the 3D-ness in your drawing. So the shadow shapes fall into the category of drawing the darker area to define the forms. Let me give you an example of this. It's really nice and easy way to understand shadow form via looking at this spherical kneaded eraser. So I just turned it into a sphere, and let's say this is like a human face kind of, and we have eyes here, and then we have nose coming out from there. So I can make it a little bit smooth. It's just a rough and rudimentary form I'm trying to show you to give you the example what I mean by shadow shape. So as you can see, this looks like a kind of a monstrous face, but the concept that I'm trying to say that is, look at those caveats of where the light have very hard time to go in. So it's creating kind of shapes there. See? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a reference from this and try to draw these shapes what I'm seeing from this object that I've just created. So I'm creating the darker shapes and naming them as like shadow shapes. So I know the direction of light is coming from this direction, and what is happening is like it's defining the forms as well as adding contrast in my drawing, because darks and lights, it's really helpful in your drawing. If the drawing don't have the good variation of dark and light, it's flat, like you can't read the form very properly. Although this form is very abstract, but it's giving me very nice feel of like kind of a monster face or zombie face. So you can learn a lot by doing this. You can create those forms very easily. And like I said, once you have done the shadow shape, like you draw the shape, you can choose your medium. In my case right now I'm drawing with ball pen, so I can go over and shade or cross hatch accordingly. I can see this whole area is a little bit darker as compared to this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add light effect, darker effect here, and it's fading, going up to fade out. So what I'm doing here, actually I'm just reading out the shadow shapes, the darker areas, which is casting shadows, which is like making form shadow, casting shadow. There are two types of shadow only. Like in this example you can see this is the form shadow and that's casting shadow. So in this case we have both things happening. You can see the upper, this area is casting shadow here, and there is form shadow as well here. So both of these things are happening here, but what I'm seeing here, it's more like darker here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add that darker effect. This is really nice practice to play with this idea. Just pick up your kneaded eraser or Play-Doh or some gum, glue tack, or transform it into something fun shape and try to draw that. Let's say now I have done this shape or this character. What I can do one more shape to imagine the other parts as well, like how his neck is going to be. Maybe I can extrude that out and imagine some more light coming on, something extruding out, because this is like kind of a zombie-ish kind of character I'm imagining. So I can play with the forms, and it's a really nice idea to practice in that way, because you have more liberty and freedom to do those kind of things like hole in a body or this kind of crazy thing when you do horror or creature, and it's best practice as well. And then I can imagine the shoulder pad, let's say shoulder area, not shoulder pad but shoulder area. how it's going to be. And imagine those forms. You can see how much beautiful forms are actually happening here, and you can take reference from them. Like I can see beautiful things happening here, so much definition. So I can roughly do that here as well. Try to translate. See, I can see this is the shadow shape happening here, shadow shape happening here, this area. This is also kind of a shadow turning form. So the idea of shading is like wherever you have a change in form, like the plane of the form change, the surface change, the value of your shading is also going to change. Like if light coming from top direction and you have a plane which is a little bit banded here, so this is going to be obviously very light, but this area is going to be darker, and if it's turning that way, this is going to be more darker. So it's very simple. If the plane is going away from the light direction, it's going to be darker. If the plane in the perpendicular with the light, it's going to be lighter. So in this way you can easily create, if you know the direction of light, you can easily create those beautiful shadow shapes which add the 3D-ness, which adds the form readability, which adds the contrast. So many things are going to happen. That's the tool comic artists always use. They use this kind of sharp shading method, and I will do one drawing with the brush pen as well. Here you can see I'm sketching out the forms with same idea. Let's do one more drawing with the same method but using different mediums. So I'm going to use brush pen. Now I'm using this brush pen from Thomas Studio, and this is the Lumis Pro. Here you have dual nib. I really like this pen, and one side I choose to put brush pen nib, and you can choose any nib you want on this pen. There are 12 or 14 variation of nibs. Okay, so let's say I am imagining a warrior wearing a helmet. So I started with the shadow side of the helmet over the eye area. So I'm imagining if the eyes are here, and we have the nose, casting shadow. So I'm just drawing the shape, chisel out the shapes of shadow to create the form effect. It's a little bit harder at first if you start just from your memory. It's good to draw the form first and then try to imagine. Let's say this whole area is going to be darker. See, so in this way you have a nice idea of where the shadow is going to be. Like if this head is going to cast the shadow on the chest, I know this is going to be in dark. Here if I imagine some armors here, so I know this belt is going to cast the shadow on the bottom side of the armor. This protector kind of armor is going to cast the shadow on the down part of the costume. So everything is connected, so I can do the form shadow or create the form shadow shapes or casting shadow shapes easily by imagining the shape and then creating the casting shadow shape. See, and then maybe there will be more shadow here, like that. This area is going to cast shadow here. Maybe there will be one more step of armor, like shoulder pad here. And here maybe they have like some feather or fur, so I can do some contrast drawing, add some contrasting shapes there in terms of like helmet. So here we have a quick demo of shadow shapes. I know this is going to be in dark if light's coming from this direction. This is going to cast shadow here. This whole area maybe in shadow, adding a little bit whites in the black. It's really nice size because in this way you can read a lot. Like maybe there are some reflection going on here, that's why there is little white area there. So you're leaving some clues in drawing, closures in drawing for readability. So that's the today's video all about, and hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts and comments so I can keep creating more videos. And if you have any idea about new video, what you want to learn from me, please let me know in comment. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.